Okay, so uh, we will see a scenario where the root user or the super user might forget their password, and it's very hard to recover. So, if a normal user forgets their password, then the root user can change it. But if the root forgets the password, then it's hard for uh, them to change it so easily. So I'll just create a scenario, and meanwhile my system starts. I'll take a pause. Okay, so let's see. So if a normal user, say I have a user called KUNJ and Kunj, and I have a user called David. So if I try to change the password for David, then I would rather use the password command. Password for the user. So basically its syntax says passwd, and then you specify the username. The common mistake is someone tried to use a password like this without specifying the username. Okay, so first of all, uh, if I try to switch the user to root, then uh, okay, so for a normal user, if I have to change the password, I would rather say passwd password for david David, and now okay. So although it has a bad password, but I'll try to use the same. Fine. So the message over here says the password has been successfully updated. Regarding the bad password, I have already told it in previous lectures. So uh, the shouldn't have a username. It should have a excuse me. It should have a number, and then it should have a special characters. It should not be a dictionary word actually. Okay, so and the rest of it was already discussed. So here uh, I have David. So as a root user, if you see, I did not require the password. Did you see that? So if a root user is being logged in, then in order to switch to any user, then you do not need to specify the password. So here, if I say exit, exit again, fine. But here, if I have to switch to the David user, then I'll require the password. Okay, so I'm being able to log into the system after changing the password. Perfect, not an issue. But what if the root user forgets the password? Then the first step is If you have to note it down, you could note it down. But the first step is, first of all, you have to restart the machine. Okay, the first thing first, restart the machine. Uh, the minus R here says for restart, minus S says halt, and I want it to be immediate. So I say now, okay, just because it's not a system user, and alternatively, okay, no, no worries. Mm, okay. So since the machine will reboot, what you need to do is you need to come up with the say rescue mode actually. Okay, that was pretty quick. So here if you see, uh, here you'll have a something called, don't go to CentOS stream, go to the rescue instead. If you can see, there is a rescue. The screen is quite small. I do not know whether it's visible or not, and whether I can make it visible or not. So in a VM I couldn't, but if you look at your videos and if you pause it, you'll see the rescue screen over there. Okay, and once you select that part, the second step is you press the E button over here. E is for edit. Okay, E is for edit. Saying so, then use your down arrow key and go to the line called Linux, and then use your right arrow key and move it to the last line. Or what you could do is you could press shift and end button, or whatever, go to the end line. So in my case I have shift and end. Okay, so I have the function end thing. After the quiet, 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 you go to the last line, uh, last part, and then you specify on the same line, you specify something called rd dot break. You might not see, it's rd dot break. Okay, and once you are done with that, press Ctrl X. Once you press Ctrl X, then the system will boot. Okay, it might take considerable amount of time depending upon the memory and depending upon the that says RAM you have. Let's wait for a while. Once my screen gets loaded, I'll resume, just to avoid the size of the video, otherwise it will get too large. So if you see, uh, this will be your screen over here, and now you simply write the command mount dash o remount. You don't need to know all of these things, because later on in later classes we'll discuss about all this, because you need to know about the SE Linux part over here. Okay, some bit of SE Linux, the things that I'm performing over here. So then after you would say RW, and because and then you say sysroot. Okay, and now you have chrot sysroot. Okay, great. And then after, now you could change the password using password command, and you could type any new password that you like for the root user. Okay, for the meanwhile I would say it will ask for you to confirm. Okay, perfect. Now, before exiting, you need to create a file. That's what I was talking about. The SE Linux would be required for some bit of knowledge. We'll discuss SE Linux in the later phase, but here you create a temporary file or say zero size file called tuuch using touch command, and the file is called auto relabel. Okay, auto relabel. Make sure there is a dot in front. Dot creates a hidden file. Okay, dot creates a hidden file. So well, after doing this, you simply say exit and simply say reboot. Okay, that's all. So for the first time, after changing the root password, it might again take considerable amount of time. So when the system resumes, I'll come back. Okay, now if you could see, uh, let's say I go to the not look, the root user doesn't show on the screen. Okay, so you click on not listed and then you say root and then you use the password, reset it right now. Okay, so commonly, what students mistake is that does the root have to change their password every time this way? No, not at all. They also can use passwd command, but for using a passwd command, they need to log in first. Okay, they need to log in first. But what if they were not around for a long period of time? Or what if they just quit the job without handing over all their credentials? Uh, so there could be other ethical issues as well. So there could be several scenarios where the root user don't remember their password, maybe because of the password policy, and uh, you set a strong password and then you couldn't remember it. Okay, so there could be possibly lot many things. Okay, then but here again, if you try to use password and you do not specify the name of the user, then by default the root user password will be, or the current user, whoever is logged in, their password will be changed. Okay, so for example, if I try to create a new password now, passwd, and if I just say simply enter, then it's trying to change the password for the root user, if you could see. Okay, so what common students make mistake is specifying, for example, I don't want to do this right now, so I simply negate this command. So what freshers or say new system developers, new system administrators try to do is they just simply use password command and they do not specify the name of the user. And coincidentally, they happen to change their root password. And now once they try to log in with the root password and by changing the other user's password, they won't be able to log in with that as well. Just for example, I'll show you. So let's say I want to change the David's password. Okay, this is the comment, and the hash sign over here shows that I'm a root user. The hash sign over here is shows that I'm an administrator or the root user over logged in. Now let's say uh, so if I say I tried to change the password for David, but by mistake I didn't write the username. Rather, I just say password, and I was so hurried that I happened to change the password over here. Okay, but now if I try to switch the user called David to David, and I oh sorry, if I try to switch the user called David and I try to oh since I'm in the root user, not a problem. Mm, okay, let's say exit first. Okay, and I try to log in through David. With this current new password. See, it's been changed. Okay, I will not be able to uh, log in with the new password. So I tried to log in with the new password, but now if I try to log in, if I try to say log in with root with my older password, again I'm not being able to change. I'm not being able to log in. So what happened? What happened? Coincidentally, coincidentally, I happened to change the password of root user while I was trying to change the password of David user. Okay, so make sure of that thing. Okay, so sometimes this thing happen and you to take precaution. Password and then name of the user. Okay, just because I remember what I said, but so therefore, so now I am into the root user again, and now again I'll be able to change the David's password so that whatever the mistake I had done earlier can be nullified. Okay, so again I say password for David, and then I try to change the new password. Okay, good. So great then. So let's recall whatever we have done throughout this season. First of all, we change the password for the root user. If the root user don't remember their password, then they won't be able to log in into the system and cannot perform any system administrative tasks. Okay, so therefore they need to log in into the system. And in fact, if you have to appear the Red Hat Linux Enterprise, uh, say now, although it's Ansible, so if you have to face the exam, then this is one of the course content for exam part as well. Okay. The question could be of any way, but you need to know this concept. Okay, how to change the password for the root or reset the password for the root user, setting to something specified or setting something unspecified on yourself. Okay. Okay. Thank you for the day. And if you have anything, if you need any further explanation for this, then you could provide them in comments. See you around.